What's up, dudes and dudettes? It's Jimmy, aka Zero Tolerance 55 here, returning to my SWTOR Explained video series after a long 3-month absence. I cannot believe it's been that long since I've done one of these videos, and to be honest, I'm sorry that I haven't done one sooner. This video, though, I'm going to go right back to where I was. I originally explained the storyline of Revan and the storyline of Mitra Surik, which are the storylines, of Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. This video is going to connect them, explain how they're connected, explain all the unanswered questions that a lot of gamers, such as myself, had at one point. So hopefully you guys understand what where I'm trying to come from with this video. So I'm just going to start right off. The story in this video starts 2 years after the events of Knights of the Old Republic 1, but prior to 2. So it's in between both games. Revan and Bastila are married and living on Coruscant, much to the dismay of the Jedi Council. Ever since defeating his former apprentice Malak, Revan has been suffering from insomnia, and the little sleep that he does get is plagued by dreams of an imminent threat. He concludes that this has to do with something from his past, so he sets forth to discover what he is missing. He reaches out to his former colleague Mitra Surik, who had been banished from the Jedi Order for following him into war, but he can find no traces of her. Remember, she is in exile. This is before she returns to Knights of the Old Republic 2. Revan then meets with his old friend Canderous Ordo and asks the Mandalorian if he can dig up any info on his past. Ordo reveals that the Mandalorians are looking for Mandalore's mask, which Revan had hid after defeating the previous Mandalore. The mask was important because without it, the Mandalorians were not united under one sole leader. So Revan decides to join Ordo in looking for the mask because he believes that it may trigger some memories that were still buried deep inside his mind. Right before he leaves, Bastila reveals that she is pregnant, and Revan tells her to stay home because he has no clue how dangerous this mission may be. At the same time that this is going on, another story is unfolding in the Sith Empire. Lord Scourge, a male Sith, gets caught in the middle of a power struggle between two members of the Dark Council. Scourge carries out his duties while serving under Darth Nihilus and earns her trust. Eventually, she reveals that the Emperor has gone mad and wishes to start a war with the Republic. Scourge, Nihilus, and countless others believed that such war would leave them defeated and exterminated at the hands of the Jedi. In an effort to convince a skeptical Scourge, Nihilus takes him to the Emperor's home planet of Nethema. It is revealed that the Emperor ripped the Force from his home planet during a ritual to make himself an immortal, in turn killing every living thing on the planet. If you watched my Sith Emperor video, you know what I'm talking about. This is when Scourge truly believes that the Emperor is a madman. Back to Revan and Ordo for a bit. Revan, Ordo, and T3M4 aid the Mandalorian clans in their quest to retrieve the mask and eventually do so. The mask triggers Revan's memories of seeing the horrors of Nethema, and he decides that that is his next destination. Ordo offers to go with him in the droid, but Revan denies his request, telling him that it was Ordo's responsibility to become the new Mandalore and regroup his people without starting another war. Ordo adopts the title Mandalore the Preserver. If you played Knights of the Old Republic 2, you will recognize the name. Ordo from Kotor 1 is Mandalore in Kotor 2. Revan and T3 bid Ordo farewell and head for Nethema. Revan and T3 arrive in the Nethema system as Scourge and Nihilus are leaving. The Sith shoot them down and head to the surface of the planet. When they do so, they board the Ebon Hawk and take Revan prisoner, paying no attention to the droid. T3 begins to repair the Ebon Hawk as Scourge and Nihilus take off with their prisoner. The story then flashes forward to 4 years to just after the events of Knights of the Old Republic 2. Revan is still in custody, but his location is unknown to anyone in the Republic, which explains why he was not involved in the events of Knights of the Old Republic 2. Also, when the Triumvirate began their slaughter of the Jedi, Bastila had gone into hiding with her and Revan's son in an effort to stay alive. After defeating the Triumvirate, Mitra Surik returns to Coruscant in the Ebon Hawk with T3M4. They meet with Bastila, and the droid reveals a hologram of Revan being captured by Lord Scourge. He also reveals that after Revan's capture, T3 repaired the Ebon Hawk just enough to get it space-worthy, and when he launched it, it was picked up by the same ship that had picked up Mitra. When Sion had snuck aboard the ship to kill them, Mitra, Kreia, and T3 fled in the damaged Ebon Hawk, and that is how Kotor 2 opens. Anyway, back to the present. T3 gives Bastila and Mitra the location of Nethema, and Mitra decides she's going to pursue the lead to find Revan for Bastila. She tells Bastila to stay behind and take care of Revan's child because that's what he would have wanted. Before Mitra leaves, Bastila gives her a package to give to Revan when she finds him. Upon inspection, it's revealed to be Revan's mask and armor that he had worn years ago as his time as the Revanchist during the Mandalorian Wars and reign as a Sith Lord. Bastila had kept it for all these years, afraid to give it to Revan and trigger the darkness inside of him. Mitra leaves and begins her journey to Nethema. Upon arriving at the planet, devoid of the Force, she begins her search of the city even though it makes her fully sick to her stomach. After finding data that could possibly lead to the location of Revan, her and T3 head to their ship and leave the planet behind. After decoding the information they gathered, T3 came to a possible location where Revan could be held, the lost Sith planet of Droman Khas. Upon her arrival, Mitra poses as a mercenary and tracks down Lord Scourge. When they finally come face to face, Scourge reveals that he wants to help Mitra free Revan, kill Nyrus, and overthrow the Emperor. A shocked Mitra doesn't believe him, but when Scourge talks of Nethema and the horror he witnessed there, she believes him. He goes on to explain that Nyrus will never move against the Emperor as she says, and that they are the ones to do it. Scourge leaves and leaks information to the Emperor that Nyrus is a traitor. The Emperor launches an attack on Nyrus' compound, and Mitra and Scourge use it as a distraction to free Revan. During the chaos, the two of them make their way to Revan's cell and free him. Mitra gives Revan the mask he once wore in the past, and all the repressed memories come rushing back to him. Revan realizes that the Emperor is the reason that he and Malak fell to the dark side following the Mandalorian Wars. At this moment, Nyrus bursts in the room and attacks Scourge and Mitra. Before she can kill them, Revan intervenes and redirects her Force lightning back at her, burning her into a pile of ash. The three of them, along with T3, make their way to a cave to plan their attack on the Emperor. While there, Revan watches a message from Bastila of their son Vaynor, and Scourge begins to have visions of his upcoming fight and a Jedi Knight overthrowing the Emperor. The next day, the three of them make their way to the Citadel and fight their way to the Emperor's throne room. Revan attacks the Emperor and the two engage in battle. The Emperor begins to overpower Revan until Mitra and Scourge intervene. At this moment, Scourge realizes that his vision showed him that an unknown Jedi will be the one to kill the Emperor, not Revan nor Mitra. Understanding what needs to be done, Scourge stabs Mitra directly in the back and kills her. A distracted Revan gets hit with Force lightning and is almost electrocuted to death when T3 shows up and hits the Emperor with his flamethrower. The Emperor then hits the droid with lightning and blows it up instantly, destroying the droid. Scourge tells the Emperor that the whole thing was a ruse to reveal potential assassins, and the Emperor rewards him with eternal life. Scourge accepts this and bides his time until the moment when the Jedi Knight from his vision will appear to stop the Emperor. Meanwhile, Revan is taken alive and thrown in a suspended animation tank where, over the next 300 years, he is tortured and questioned about the Republic. What the Emperor doesn't realize is that during this time, Revan is working his will in the Force to delay the Emperor from invading the Republic. The story ends with Revan in suspended animation with Mitra's Force Ghost watching over him and Bastila thinking about her long-lost husband. I got all of this information, you guys, from the Revan novel. If you have not read it, it is amazing. I sincerely, honestly encourage you guys to check that out. It was a great book. It leads up to the Old Republic MMO. That is where this story ends. If you guys want me to continue it and tell you about, the final showdown with the Emperor, Scourge, Revan, all of them, let me know. I am more than willing to do that, even though it ruins the storyline of one of the characters in the game. So let me know. I'm glad you guys waited around and, were patient enough for me to make this video. I missed making them, and trust me, this is the first of many. I will take requests on here, on my Twitter, and on my new Facebook channel at facebook.com/zerotolerance55, twitter.com, look me up at zerotolerance55. I'm taking requests for new Star Wars stories because I'm basically done with the Revan story after, the final showdown, which is coming up soon. So thank you guys, and stay tuned for more.